Coley, my love. Do you remember the day you asked me to be a cuckold for a week? I still can't believe I agreed to it. At the time, I told myself it was just a phase, a fleeting curiosity that we'd try and forget. But now, looking back, I know I was wrong. For you, it was never just a passing thought. It was a need I could never fulfill. Your voice still echoes in my mind, soft and trembling with urgency. Austin, I want this, you said, your hand resting lightly on my arm. It's not that I don't love you. I do. But this is something I've always dreamed of. I should have known from the way you looked at me that night. Those big, pleading eyes, your lip caught nervously between your teeth. You were asking me for more than permission. You were asking me to trust you, to step into a world I didn't understand. I stayed awake all night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I could give you what you wanted without losing myself. Our marriage hadn't been perfect, but we were happy, or at least I thought we were. You were the kind of woman who could light up a room with your laugh, the kind of partner who made the mundane feel magical. But somewhere along the way, that magic began to fade. It was subtle at first. You started spending more time on your phone, smiling at messages you wouldn't share with me. You bought new clothes, bolder, sexier, and said they were just for fun. I didn't question it, chalking it up to a phase. Then, one evening, as we sat on the couch watching TV, you leaned over and kissed me, your lips lingering on mine. Austin, you whispered, can I ask you something without you getting mad? Of course, I replied, my stomach tightening with anticipation. You hesitated, your fingers tracing circles on my hand. Have you ever thought about sharing me? I laughed nervously, unsure if you were joking. Sharing you? What do you mean? You met my gaze, your expression serious. I mean, letting me explore with someone else. Just for a week. It wouldn't mean I love you any less. In fact, I think it could bring us closer. The room fell silent. I could hear the faint hum of the television, but your words drowned out everything else. Coley, I said slowly, where is this coming from? I've been thinking about it for a while, you admitted. It's not that I'm unhappy. I want to feel desired in a way I can't explain. It's not about replacing you. It's about experiencing something new. I stared at you, my mind racing. A part of me wanted to dismiss the idea outright, but another part, a darker, more curious part, wondered if this could actually work. For days I wrestled with your request. Your words lingered in my mind, a constant battle between love and self-respect. Deep down, I knew what you were asking wasn't just about a fantasy. It was about trust, about proving something I wasn't sure I could. One evening, as we sat across from each other at the dining table, you slid a piece of paper toward me. What's this? I asked, my brow furrowing. It's an agreement, you said softly. To make sure we're both on the same page, with boundaries clearly laid out. I stared at the paper, the words blurring together as my pulse quickened. Cuckold agreement. 1. The arrangement will last 1 week. 2. All encounters will take place with Austin's prior knowledge and consent. 3. The agreement will be voided if either party violates the terms. The document was simple but cold, every word cutting into me like a blade. At the bottom, 2 signature lines waited, stark and ominous. I looked up at you. You really need this, don't you? Tears welled in your eyes. It's not about choosing someone else over you, Austin. It's about feeling free, feeling alive. But I need your trust. I hesitated, the pen trembling in my hand. And this is what you need to be happy? You nodded. Yes. My hand hovered over the line, every instinct screaming at me to walk away. But love can make a man do foolish things, and in that moment, I was a fool. I signed it. The night came faster than I expected. You spent hours getting ready, your reflection glowing under the warm bathroom lights. Your dress hugged your curves in ways that made my throat dry, and your perfume lingered in the air like a taunt. "He'll be here soon," you said, smoothing the fabric of your dress. "Are you sure you're okay with this?" I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Yeah, I'm fine." When the doorbell rang, my heart pounded so loudly I thought it would burst. You opened the door with a smile, greeting him like an old friend. He was tall, confident, and far too at ease for my liking. The three of us sat awkwardly in the living room, making small talk that felt anything but small. I could feel the tension crackling in the air, every glance and subtle movement loaded with anticipation. Then you stood, taking his hand. "Austin, why don't you stay here for a bit? We'll just be in the bedroom." My stomach churned as I watched you lead him away. The sound of the door closing behind you felt like the sharp snap of a thread breaking. I told myself I wouldn't look. I promised myself I'd stay in the living room, that I wouldn't give in to the growing knot of curiosity and jealousy twisting in my gut. But the silence was unbearable. The faint creak of the bed frame, the soft murmurs filtering through the walls. It was all too much. Quietly, I crept down the hall, my heart pounding in my chest. The door was ajar, just enough for me to see everything. You were lying on the bed, your skin glowing in the soft light, your body draped in a lace that left little to the imagination. He was kneeling above you, his hands exploring you like an artist shaping clay, and the way your body arched under his touch made my breath hitch. I tried to play along, to be the supportive husband you needed me to be. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay silent. But as he leaned down to kiss you, as you gasped and moaned beneath him, I could feel my jealousy bubbling up inside of me, rising like a tide I couldn't control. It was unbearable, watching you, hearing you. You weren't just with another man. You were lost in him. The way you moved, the way you cried out his name, the raw, unrestrained pleasure in your voice. It was something I had never seen before, and it was something I couldn't give you. Each sound you made, every time his hands elicited a response from you, felt like a dagger slicing through my chest. I wanted to scream, to burst into the room and pull you away, but I didn't. I stood there, frozen, my feet rooted to the ground, watching as my wife slipped further from my grasp. When he slid inside you, your head fell back, your lips parting in a cry that echoed in my ears. The way you clung to him, your nails raking down his back, sent a wave of heat and humiliation through me. I knew I should look away, but I couldn't. My mind raced, a storm of anger, desire, and despair. Was this what you wanted all along? Was this who you truly were? I told myself that this was just a moment, a fleeting fantasy that you needed to chase. But deep down, I knew better. And as I watched you unravel beneath him, moaning with pleasure, I couldn't help but feel like our marriage was slipping through my fingers. Finally, the words escaped me, low and raw, barely audible. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered to myself, stepping back into the shadows. When it was over, you found me in the living room, staring blankly at the wall. Your hair was disheveled, your skin flushed, but your expression was soft. "Are you okay?" you asked, sitting beside me. I couldn't meet your eyes. "I don't think I can handle this, Coley. This isn't what I thought it would be." You reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "I need some space," I said, my voice cracking. "Please, just go." The days that followed were a blur. I tried to focus on work, on anything that didn't remind me of you. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw your face, lost in pleasure beneath another man. When I called my lawyer to file for separation, the bombshell dropped. "You signed an agreement," my lawyer explained. "By consenting to the arrangement and being the one to leave, you've essentially forfeited your claim to the house." The words hit me like a freight train. That damned piece of paper, the one I signed out of love, had sealed my fate. When I confronted you, your tone was calm. "You made your choice, Austin," you said. "I never forced you to sign." The coldness in your voice sent a chill down my spine. Months later, I sat alone in a quiet cafe, reflecting on everything that had happened. My life had settled into a new kind of normal. But the scars of that week remained, raw and unhealed. You had shown me a side of yourself I couldn't handle, and one I would never forget. As I stood to leave, I caught my reflection in the window. For the first time, I saw a man learning to let go. "I'll be okay," I whispered. And for the first time, I believed it. If you reached the end of the story, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments below.